it is Alex Stop here, and I'm bringing you another Formula Xbox race. We are in Singapore, and I am going to bring you around what I consider to be a slow lap from me of Singapore. As we go onto the main straight, or the pit straight, you need to brake into second for that first corner. Then on that little straight bit, you can use more curb, but you have the risk of a corner cutting, so your lap would be invalidated. Now this corner is important because you need to carry the speed through. I feel like I could have got more speed, and you'll see that in the first sector I am up on Drastic Midget, as this braking zone is the heaviest braking zone on the track, I think, except for maybe the one on the back straight. Now this corner here is the most difficult of all the corners in Singapore, because sometimes you can lift off and get it right, sometimes you have to brake. I broke that time. I could have taken it just by lifting, and then I made so many mistakes in qualifying. That's okay. You really need to gun it through there. You need to just hope the curbs are kind, so yeah, fly into the bridge, and you can see that I'm 7/10 up. That's enough for pole, despite not being the end of the session. Somebody goes fast. I would have taken pole quite comfortably with this time at the moment, but I'm very conservative through that section, because that's where I made my mistake before, and I'm very conservative through underneath the grandstand, because for the same reason, because I spun out loads of times there. And the same on that corner. I'm really wary of the threat of these corners. And then the last corner I had my biggest moment. I take that in a really low revs, and it's an okay-ish lap, but I'm not particularly very happy about my lap there. Right, so now we're on to the race. There's a very interesting thing which happens here. The fact that on my screen the track is significantly damper than anybody else's screen, and you'll see how, although you can't see other people's screen on my one, you can see the amount of grit other people have from my new teammate Chicken Macaroon, who's actually very fast, and he led quite a lot of this race. I was impressed by that, but I feel I still have better pace overall, because I didn't really have my best showing because of the damp. But you can see the track is really dark, and these are the tyres, because I didn't improve on my final run. These are the tyres that have done like 7 laps, so they're already at the end of their stint before I start. But look at that start for Chicken Macaroon. He's gone right past all of us from like 5th to 2nd. Amazing move there. And then I think I tapped someone behind me. Not really my fault, but I get a penalty for it. But it doesn't really matter in the end. But then I shift down to neutral, and Drastic Midget crashes straight into the back of me. Not good at all there, but I am being really tentative to these corners because of the wet patches. I can't afford to just throw my car into a corner. That's how I lost part of my front wing. It was really difficult in the opening stages to keep up with the front two, because I think their tracks were drier. Now, although it may look a bit lighter, the grip levels were the same. It was still felt like it was slightly wet. Not enough for intermediates, of course, but it didn't feel like it was in qualifying and in the dry when I was practicing for this race. And you can see that by the amount of lifting I was doing, how late I was accelerating out the corners, making sure I wasn't hitting any curbs that much, because they can cause you to spin off or make you lose time. Okay, but now we're on lap 5. I've lost a load of my front wing, and Hybe, who was in front, has replaced K Gibbs, because K Gibbs' Xbox died. R.I.P. No. He spun out, so he's pitting at the same time as me. But unfortunately, my race, although it is looking good at the moment, of course I've got a front wing change. You can see how damaged my front wing was there. Yeah, there's nothing left on it, no elements. Really, I should have pitted earlier, but I decided to pit now, and I think Chicken Macaroon is going to go right past me. Yep, here he comes. He's already pitted, I think. Yes, he has, and he's set the fastest lap of the race. Very good job there from my teammate. Very impressed with how he's been driving. But unfortunately, it's not a fairy tale ending. It's not a 1-2 for Williams, which I've never achieved, or especially haven't achieved it with Senna. I might have achieved it with Alex Zafra when he was at the league, but not now. But I have caught up Chicken Macaroon on my new tyres, and although it's still damp, I know it may look quite a bit drier, but it's still slightly damp. It's just my pace which has improved, and the fact that I haven't got any tyre wear. But he makes a mistake there, so I'm going to pump my Kers, but then he locks up and he goes wide, and then he spins and crashes into me, and then that's the end of his race, as I think he then retires, or he disconnects, or he rage quits. I'm not quite sure what happened. Very disappointing there, but Hybe was faster than me in these conditions, and trust me, the conditions were, although they looked completely dry, it wasn't. Of course, then I make a massive mistake, which makes me lose lots of time. And because I spun up my wheels, I need to be careful through those left and right handers, or right and left. And then, of course, I make a mistake on the last corner, and that's pretty much me over for this race. I try fighting back, but there's no chance. So, congratulations to Hybe on his debut win. I did it in Malaysia, and Ignored Finger did it in Spain. He got a 5-race winning streak. That was a long time ago now. And I feel that I can definitely get back in Japan. Now, Ignored Finger wasn't racing this race, so I've got 18 points on him already by default. So, also by the end my tyres were completely shod. No rear tyre grip whatsoever. So I'm going to leave you now. It was a pretty boring race, to be honest. I could have done better. This has been Alex Stop, and I'll see you next week.
Great race, just fantastic. 18 points.